Who's a better daughter?
I know that trick.
At least give me like the bush
Just
one.
at least tell us who you were more excited about when they were born. Who do you love more?
Here we go.
What are our middle names?
What's my birth?
This is the press now. Or finally, Lionel Richie comes on stage and he sings his love songs. Try to go back to a rehearsal after that.
At 76, Lionel Richie finally opened up about the truth behind the smile. For years, the world saw him as the man who made love sound easy, the voice that could calm chaos with a melody. But behind the spotlight was someone who'd loved, lost, and rebuilt himself more times than he could count. The fame, the heartbreak, the silence, it all shaped the songs that raised a generation. This isn't about a comeback or a chart run. It's about a man who learned that peace hits harder than applause. This is the man who made the world feel good. The crowd sang like they were in church, every phone light flickering as Lionel stood there, soaking it all in. "Hello" floated through the air. One of those songs that hits everyone in the chest no matter how many times you've heard it. The man on stage wasn't just performing, he was comforting people. For a few minutes, the world felt soft again. Then the lights dimmed and the cheers died out. Backstage, it was just Lionel, towel around his neck, quiet, catching his breath. That glow from the crowd? Gone. What's left is the man who's carried joy, heartbreak, and history in one lifetime. He once said he grew up scared, a shy kid who learned how to act confident before he actually was. Everyone later knew him as the smooth talker, the man with the easy smile and the love songs. But before all that, there was a small-town kid in Alabama, surrounded by rules, ambition, and music leaking through the cracks. His parents were strict. Education, discipline, everything by the book. His grandma had him at the piano, his uncle handed him a sax, and the church taught him how to feel sound, not just play it. He was the quiet one in a family that expected excellence, the kind of place where failure wasn't on the menu. But that same pressure made him find his escape. Music became his rebellion, the only space where he didn't have to be perfect. When he played, something cracked open. The shy boy vanished, replaced by someone fearless, free. That push and pull, wanting to please, needing to feel, shaped everything he ever wrote. His melodies said what he couldn't.
I was the shyest person ever. And the Commodores became this wonderful vehicle of guys. Forget the band, brothers.
By the time Lionel hit his stride, that soft voice of his had turned into something unstoppable. Back in college, he linked up with a few friends who started a band called the Commodores, a funky, chaotic group of dreamers lugging their gear across towns, living off adrenaline in tiny paychecks. They were loud, hungry, and ready to take on the world. At first, it was all about the groove, brass, bass, sweat, and rhythm. Then Lionel started sneaking in songs that hit different. He wasn't chasing the party, he was chasing emotion. One minute they were jamming for the crowd, the next he was writing songs that made people cry in their cars. Those love songs, the slow ones that felt too honest, turned him into the heart of the group, even when the rest of them wanted to stay all funk and no feelings. The fame came fast, but so did the cracks. What made them special started to pull them apart. Lionel's ballads were everywhere, weddings, radio, you name it. And the spotlight slowly stopped being shared. He was the face, the voice, the peacemaker, and the guy everyone blamed when things got complicated.
You know what solo means?
Yeah.
Solo means you get another band. I already had a band.
Right.
He started writing for other stars, slipping into a new lane quietly. Songs that didn't just sound polished, they sounded like freedom. And while people thought his music was all smiles and smooth sailing, underneath was a man completely worn out, singing about wanting peace more than applause. Eventually, he had to leave. The brotherhood that once felt like home started to feel like a cage. Walking away broke his heart, but staying would have broken him worse. He left behind the laughs, the road trips, the easy friendship, all to find himself again outside the noise.
This is the press now. Or finally, Lionel Richie comes on stage and he sings his love songs. Try to go back to a rehearsal after that.
When Lionel finally stepped away from the Commodores, it felt like everyone had been waiting for that moment. The quiet kid who used to blend into the background was now front and center, smooth, charming, and suddenly the world's favorite gentleman. His first solo project blew up instantly. The songs were warm, timeless, the kind of thing people played at weddings, breakups, everything in between. Then the next album hit and turned him into the face of an entire era. Love songs, dance hits, stadium tours, the whole thing. He wasn't just famous, he was everywhere. On stage, he looked perfect. Every note, every smile, perfectly timed. But off stage, it was a different story. The pressure to always be the happy, polished version of himself was slowly wearing him down. Everyone saw a man who had it all, but they missed the exhaustion underneath. The more people he made feel seen, the more invisible he felt. He kept writing songs about love and connection while quietly losing both. The fame, the travel, the headlines. It all blurred together. His marriage was falling apart, and soon the chaos behind closed doors exploded into public view. What the world saw as drama was really heartbreak that had been building for years. He was the guy who gave everyone else comfort, but by the end of the night, when the lights were off and the crowd was gone, it was just him and the silence that came after the applause. By the time the 90s rolled around, Lionel had gone completely quiet. The guy who used to own every love song on the radio just disappeared from the spotlight. It started with loss. His dad, his anchor, his biggest supporter, passed away, and it broke something in him. The same man who once smiled through everything suddenly couldn't fake it anymore. The music stopped coming, the tours stopped happening, and the applause that used to keep him going started to feel empty. Years of chasing perfection had finally caught up with him. After all the fame, interviews, flashing lights, and fake laughs, he hit a wall. The divorce didn't help either. The family, the image, the dream, all of it fell apart at once. Behind closed doors, he was a ghost of himself. Friends said he barely spoke. He'd walk through his mansion, surrounded by gold records that didn't mean a thing anymore. The guy who once made the whole world sing couldn't even sit down and write a single line. But in that quiet, something small started to grow again. He began asking the questions he'd never dared to face. Who was he when the crowd was gone? When the love songs stopped working even on him? It took time, but slowly he found his way back to the piano. When he finally started making music again, it wasn't about chasing hits or topping charts. It was softer, more honest, like someone breathing again after forgetting how. When the 2000s rolled around, Lionel stepped back into the light, not as some shiny comeback story, but as a man finally breathing again. His new record felt like a quiet reset, not a victory lap. The songs weren't about chasing hits or proving anything. They sounded like someone who'd seen too much to fake the old magic. The single caught on overseas, proof that his voice still carried that same softness that once stopped time. Only now it came with a little more weight, less show, more soul. You could hear how much he changed in the way he sang. Slower, calmer, like someone finally okay with not being everywhere all the time. He wasn't trying to relive the glory days or play the superstar anymore. The years away had stripped all that off him. What was left was honest, a man just trying to find peace after everything he'd lost and learned. As the lights came back on, he didn't walk into them like a legend reclaiming his throne. He walked in like someone starting fresh, older, wiser, still singing, but this time for himself.
And who's a better daughter?
I know that trick. At least give me like the bush
Just
one.
at least tell us who you were more excited about when they were born. Who do you love more?
Here we go.
What are our middle names?
I'm
What's
outta
my
here.
birth?
The man who once chased chart toppers now cared more about peace at home than plaques on the wall. His story wasn't about record sales anymore. It was about family. 3 kids, 2 big loves, and years of figuring out how to keep people close without losing himself in the process. His first marriage had been messy, public, unforgettable. Then came Miles and Sophia from his next chapter. When Sophia got married, he walked her down the aisle, trying to hold it together while she kept repeating how much she loved him. For someone who'd lived through so much noise, that moment felt quiet, raw, real, everything he'd ever wanted fatherhood to mean. Time had made him softer, not smaller. He stopped running from his mistakes and started making peace with them. The scandal, the heartbreak, all of it became something he could finally talk about without flinching. The forgiveness started with himself, and that changed everything. Now his world was slower and fuller. His house stayed loud with laughter, his phone filled with pictures of family dinners and baby photos instead of press invites. The songs that once belonged to everyone else were now pieces of home, lullabies for the people who mattered most. He didn't need to prove anything anymore. He prayed more, moved slower, and found meaning in the same lessons he'd grown up with. Faith, family, and figuring out what still matters when the lights go out. After everything, he'd finally reached the answer his dad had always wanted him to find. If it all disappeared tomorrow, he'd still be the same man.